Namaskar. After a brief hiatus, Kaartik Gor is back with us, and he has just returned from a trip to United States. He was on the East Coast. I have been doing some promo stuff also. I hope you had a chance to meet him. Now let's welcome Kaartik ji as we talk about the latest developments in India. Kaartik ji, Har Har Mahadev, and how are you?
Har Har Mahadev and Namah Shivaya to everybody. I'm very good. I'm fine.
Om Namah Shivaya. And Kaartik ji, this Nagpur violence, now more and more information is coming out that it was very carefully planned, just like Godhra. Now I'm going to stop at that point. Tell us a little bit about, was this foretold in the stars of Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis? After all, this is his hometown. See, there is a thing there. There's a message. We will ghar mein ghus ke marenge in a very perverted way. What exactly do you think is happening?
No, it is, to be very frank, if we understand the messaging, it is ghar mein ghus ke marenge in a very, very open way. As long as we are ready to address the elephant in the room. You know, as long as we want to push it under the carpet, कि कोई भटके हुए नौजवान है, ये है, वो है, which we have been doing for decades and centuries, then it's a different issue. Then, we have no hope, But if you want to address the elephant in the room, then yes, it is a clear messaging that, guys, if you feel this is your safest area, we will hit you in your safest area. And now you do what you want to do, and we are going to show what we can do. It's a clear thing. The more we are going to try to avoid it is the problem we are only trying to avoid, rather than addressing the elephant in the room and at an early stage, so that the elephant doesn't become that strong that you just can't manage over a period of time. And to be very frank, we are to be blamed for making the elephant so strong, right? I have been talking about this from Bharat's perspective, and I'll come back to Devendra Fadnavis ji's swearing in chart also, where I had clearly mentioned this issue which is going to come up. See, in Bharat's chart, we have Taurus Lagna with Rahu in Lagna, right? So Rahu is the foreigner. And foreign belief could be any belief, right? If it was Leo Lagna, then basically these are the worshippers, which worship on maybe Sundays, because Leo is associated with Surya, which is Sunday, right? Whereas Taurus is associated with Friday worshipping. Okay. Now, the catch is that, at the same time, a planet in the Lagna becomes a 𝗍𝗎𝗏. So it is also very benefic. So technically speaking, Friday worshippers, which are away from India, are people who are extremely beneficial for Bharat. So net, if you see, the so-called Muslim countries are actually now very favorable to Bharat. But the problem is people inside Bharat, and we need to, and then the writing in the wall, or as we say, that writing in the horoscope is very clear, as long as we are ready to address the issue. Okay. Now coming to Devendra Fadnavis ji's swearing in chart, and I'm on record, so people who are following me would know that I'm not somebody who is talking after the event has happened. It's always easy to be smarter after the event has happened. But I was the one who had made it very, very clear when Devendra ji was sworn in on 5th of December 2024 at 5:35 p.m. I'm telling this because I know there are a lot of people who follow me, and they want to also learn Jyotish. And that is something I learned during my US trip also. The amount of interest people are getting in terms of understanding the geopolitics via Jyotish. So if you look at that particular horoscope, it is Taurus Lagna with Jupiter in Lagna. Jupiter is retrograde. More importantly, there is debilitated Mangal in the 3rd house and Ketu in the 5th house. Now what happens, Sree Iyer ji, is when there is a malefic planet in the 3rd house and 5th house, it is called as Papakatri, which means the house in between is going to have the challenge. So what is that house? The 4th house, because the 3rd house is a malefic and the 5th house is a malefic. So the 4th house in a swearing in chart of a chief minister is internal security. And exactly on that same day, if people go through my Twitter bio, etc., they will know that I had said that, hey, listen, this is a very, very big problem, and that is internal security. But are we ready to take this up? The good thing is that Mangal is in debility. That means Devendra ji is in a way not going to brush it under the carpet, and he is going to address the situation. But at what level we address the situation, and whether the Delhi has given an approval, and then to what level? See, because this problem is not just a state level problem, right? It is more of a Bharat level problem, and to a large extent even global problem. So as long as we understand that there is a problem with section of India, and if we are going to say 2.5 front war, 3.5 front war, I don't know how many more front are being opened, because we are just not ready to take any action. Those half front war will be there, but it is very, very clear in the swearing-in chart, and I am on record to say that we will have a huge internal security issue, and that will be hit during this term.
Thank you so much, Kaartik ji. Let's talk a little bit about your trip to United States. How long were you in the East Coast, and how was your experience? And then we'll go on to the Israel topic, which is sort of a little bit different from this. Go over to you.
So I'm very, very blessed, and I was telling everybody there. So I was in New York. Loved the Broadways. Actually, I was staying right on the street, and I saw 9 Broadways in the first 6 days of my New York visit. And every New Yorker was telling me, Kaartik ji, we have been here for 20 years. We also haven't seen 9 Broadways. And I was like, I love the stage. And right since the childhood, I used to watch a lot of Gujarati plays, Marathi plays, different operas. Even in Dubai, we are blessed to have Dubai opera. So I watch a lot of operas. In fact, latest, I missed that because the 16th I was on the flight. We had a play called 𝗤𝗓𝗏, which is based on the life story of Sri Krishna, written by Prasun Joshi. And that was a play that all the Sanatanis watched in Dubai. And I keep saying that, talk about the internal security in Dubai. Everybody has a lot of fun. We have no problem. There is no stone pelting. There is no sentiments which are ever hurt. India won the World Cup. There was so much of fun people had on the street, and then again, there was no problem at all. So why does it all happen problem in Bharat only? So this is a problem which is very, very genuinely to be understood, because we are not ready to address the elephant in the room. We are not ready to address the problem in the language in which it has to be addressed. So coming back to US, I was in New York. Then a lot of events in New York we did. A lot of events we did in New Virginia, Virginia. There is a special place called Norfolk. I'm sure you must be aware. There is a naval base over there and submarine base over there. So there were events over there, and a lot of people I met, and it was so heartening. Generally, I told them that after like 4 or 5 days, Sree Iyer ji, I always feel homesick. I want to go back. But over there, I was there for good 12 days, and I didn't feel homesick. In the end, I felt that maybe I had one more day. I wanted to see that opera of Michael Jackson again, because it was too good. And I would highly recommend, if people are there around that Broadway area, watch that Michael Jackson musical, because it has been made very, very logically. It has been made based on his life, and very, very nicely done. So I see a lot of hope. And I was telling you that because wherever I went, I always told them that I'm not interested in, garlands, foolhar, shawl and all. So there were places where they had made one nice 𝗑𝗲𝗏 for me. And I told them that, guys, I'm not interested in sitting in the 𝗑𝗏𝗏 and all. And in fact, I always keep on saying that anybody who is going to get into all that thing is going to, waver away from their target. So I just kept a flower on the name of Vyasadeva, did some mantras, and I was standing and teaching them Jyotish. So net, what I'm trying to say is there is a huge interest for people in Jyotish. There is a huge interest for people in bringing back the Gurukul system, because a lot of them had already seen my Twitter bio, and they wanted to be part of that mission. Kaartik ji, how can we do that? What can we do that? What can we do for our kids? How can we ensure that we are viable for Bharat? And I told them that, guys, don't feel that just because you are away from Bharat, you are not a Bharatiya. In fact, to a large extent, you are contributing more to Bharat than the so-called people in Bharat who are actually a complete liability for Bharat. I know even I get trolled many times. You must be getting trolled many times.
Yeah.
Itna sara baat karta hai, why don't you come back to Bharat? And I smile and tell them that, guys, if you understand Jyotish, you will understand that sometimes the planet takes you away from Bharat. There is a concept which is the concept of Bhatakesh, as a result of which your karma bhumi can be different to Janma bhumi. But that doesn't mean that we are not Sanatanis, that probably we are more Sanatanis than you. So don't give that crap to us. We are more of an asset to Bharat. rather than many of you who are liabilities and talking big things but doing nothing for Bharat. But I am very, very proud of every Sanatani there, and with a promise, and I've given it to them as well, that I'm going to visit more of New York. I'm going to be in Los Angeles and San Diego, that side, in October, November. And I love the vibe in the US. And I personally feel that US has got great internal strength. And it is a great blessing that Donald Trump came, because the way it was just at the edge. It could well have gone the wrong way, because China was ready to take over if there was another term for Kamala Harris. Luckily for US, I know some of you might not agree, but Donald Trump came and he is bringing back that glory for US. Yes, that churning is always tough, because it's like a chemotherapy that he is doing, right? And a few decisions might go wrong, but that doesn't stop him from making decisions. That is the main important thing. That, just because your decision might go wrong, it doesn't mean you aren't going to take a decision. So that this guy is taking decision, and I'm very sure, as I've predicted before, based on his swearing-in chart as well as his own horoscope, that the second year of his office is a period where he is going to bring the American economy back into the thing. Currently, he is focusing more in that Mangal, which is debilitated, 𝗍𝗏 yajna, as I told you, and internal security, because again, it is the fourth house. And we discussed about the fourth house related to Devendra Fadnavis's chart also. So Donald Trump is also going for that fourth house. He's taking that internal security and everything as his top priority, and basically clearing up the mess which has been there for years. And I wish him all the luck, and I'm going to be back in US very soon.
Wonderful, Kaartik ji. And viewers, this is all connected with something else. And I hope many of you have watched our hangout with Simon Hunt and Alex Craner about what is happening in Europe, because both of these individuals are Europeans. They have lived in Europe, I'm including UK, of course. And Simon Hunt actually lives in your neck of the woods. He's 88 or something like that. He said, Kaartik ji, very interesting stuff. He said, when he was 4 years old, he had to flee Myanmar, the then Burma, to come to Kolkata, because his father was, I think, in the administrative service, and he was a 4-year-old. He had to first run from Burma because the Japanese were coming to attack, and he had to come to Kolkata. He's 80 plus, and he's still playing tennis. Amazing. So why I'm saying all this is, everything goes back to the same thing. There was a certain clique that was managing a lot of things around the world, and I think, I don't know, Kaartik ji, we can do this thing programmed next episode or something like that. Why is there so much desperation about what is happening in Ukraine? And why does, UK, we did a quick math, just to one minute and we'll get back to, we did a quick math. You know how many people are there, the army size of United Kingdom? 12,000. There are 78,000 so-called in the army, only 12,000 are battle ready. And they want to send 10,000 of them to fight in Ukraine. Can you imagine a country of the importance of UK sending 80% into a place where they are going to probably get slaughtered?
Absolutely, 100%.
So it just shows you what desperation they have. You have to say something, please go ahead. Then we'll go to Israel.
Yeah, no, we will talk about it in length in our next episode. But see, this was a prediction which I had made on the first day of the war when it started. A lot of people criticized me, and I said that, this is a war which Russia cannot lose. And Ukraine will succeed, or Ukraine will lose about 20 to 35% of its territory. It's a very, very famous prediction, which was not famous during that time, because there was a lot of sentiments for, you look at what Russia
democracy
is doing,
is in danger. Yeah,
Russia is doing. And I was like, guys, even now I told that, guys, Russia or Putin had only two options. Either he fights the war within Moscow after 5 or 10 years, or he fights the war inside Kyiv right now. So he chose the right option of fighting the war inside Kyiv right now, rather than fighting it in Moscow after 10 years. So people who understand, people are smart enough, will understand that. People who are emotional will keep on trolling me. But the fact of the matter is, when I talk Jyotish, I keep my emotions aside. With that emotion, I could have never predicted 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Kejriwal will be a 3-time chief minister. I had to keep with a lot of heavy heart, I had to give that prediction, because I'm not a 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Kejriwal fan. But when it comes to Jyotish, you have to tell the facts as it is. And I had told it from day one that listen, if Donald Trump is Leo Lagna needs a lion to negotiate with him, and Putin is not circus ka sher. And when Putin negotiates, he will negotiate it on his terms and he will get it done. So talking about land, taking about, giving back the land that he has captured is not even on the negotiation table. And then to a large extent, Trump has already agreed to that, where he has openly said that, guys, you can't expect me to get that land back from Putin. The only thing I can convince him is that, bhai, aur mat lena. You understand? So that is exactly in line with what I had said about on the first day of the war, based on the horoscope of whenever that February 24 or whenever it got started.
2022. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's get up to Israel. So let's back up a little bit, because everybody has been caught up in what's happening in Ukraine, that we probably did not look at what was happening in Israel. Hamas and Israel had a ceasefire agreement, according to which they had to return some of the bodies, as well as people hostages, and they only did a small number, and then the thing completely stopped. And now you are seeing Israel, going and punishing them. But so the question that is on everyone's mind now is, what is the change in direction mean? Because Israel is now giving up on the fact that Hamas may even have the bodies, or they may have been dead. What do you think is going on?
Interestingly, Sree, this is a tough topic for me to talk. But yet, just before Trump, 2 days or 3 days before Trump was going to come to the office, there was one more channel where they had asked me this pointed question, that Trump has already said that before I come, give away the hostages, or all hell is going to break loose in his own style. He has said, and they asked me, so what's going to happen? And I said that the deal won't go through. He said, what are you saying? Hamas is not going to listen to Trump? I said, no, they aren't going to listen to Trump, and it won't go through. And another prediction which I had made about 6 months before is that, guys, you have 6 months before Trump comes. And, if Trump comes and with the things that I see happening, maybe the two-state solution might be under a problem. Maybe, and then Trump is already giving about those solutions, that he will have the real estate and he's going to build Trump Towers, or maybe a golf course over there. God knows. So in a subtle way, I feel even that what I said about a two-state solution, which was more or less agreeable to everybody, might be under jeopardy. And maybe Trump might say enough is enough, that there's no point negotiating with these guys. And again, what I had said before, Sree, Trump desperately wants to close that lid on Russia so that he can focus on Iran. And I'm very clear about it that, Iran has got two choices. Either there is a regime change happening, or they are going to face the music. And it seems highly likely that most probably they are going to face the music.
So Israel has come through with, I mean, even both Trump and Israel, both of them said that all hell will break loose. And where is this going to stop, though? Because, see, again, it comes back to what he said. He said that we are going to move everybody out of Gaza. We're going to take over Gaza. We're going to rebuild it, and it's going to be controlled by US, where Netanyahu, I think, didn't expect this. You could see the surprise in his face in that press conference. So how realistic is this? See, one way I can look at it is the Ben Gurion Canal, the way it is being envisioned, the new path is an alternative to Suez Canal. Right. So that means the Suez Canal completely sold to China. Is that what the problem is? Or undo the, I mean, you are closer to the action than I am. Maybe you have a little bit more feeling for the undercurrents there. Talk to us, what exactly is going to happen?
See, the undercurrent is that, most probably, it's going to be Iran, which is going to be the flashpoint. And more or less, US also wants, this Gaza issue to be sorted out in terms of they'll play now the bargain game by probably Israel capturing few of the territories, and then they are going to do the hard bargaining in the reverse way, with America also saying that, okay, guys, you have two options: either give the land to us, that will protect you from Israel, and but at the same time, I'm going to build in some real estate. I'm going to have a stake, and it's going to be more or less managed by America, and then few of the Palestinians would be relocated and all those things. But again, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess, because that solution, I'm sure, won't be acceptable probably to the Saudis, the Qataris, as well as probably the UAEs, because for UAE, being in UAE, for us, the major issue is that we are very close to Iran, and we are doing absolutely fine. So we don't want any stress, and for our own safety and for our own advantage, we would like Iran not to be touched. And if there can be a negotiation and everything can be sorted out on the table, that's the best sort of a situation. But unfortunately, the second part looks more likely, where there won't be a regime change, and there would be a forced regime change, and forced regime change would only happen with the help of Mangal, because that Mangal is the only planet which is there in Kendra, and with Lagnesh being there. So there would be an element of war or assassination attempt, few more pages being used. All those tactics will be used. But if none of that works out, then probably it will be an all-out war, or a tactical war, as we might say. And they have already started with the Houthis. And let us all understand that a bombing of Houthis is in a way a messaging directly to Iran, because they directly share the umbilical cord, so to say. And all those, the chessboard is very, very interesting. Let us put it that way. And when we will open up more and more as we go ahead. But the chessboard is very interesting. And as I said, it's all up to Iran, because it has two choices. But I'm sure the first choice is almost impossible, because none of these people at the top, they want to leave. And frankly speaking, there is no democracy whereby there is a process where there could be a voting and they could be taken out. So if the first option is almost not possible, then the second option is the only alternative. It starts with the Houthis, but it's going to come up at some point of time to Iran itself.
Kaartik ji, let me ask you one question that probably is a little bit counter to what your perception about this is. See, the new path for the Ben Gurion Canal is actually runs very parallel to the border that Israel and Egypt have. And one side is very close to that new city that Saudi Arabia is building called Neom, on which they have put a pause. And what I'm trying to say is that if this is completed 5 years, 10 years down the road, and by that time Neom also will be ready, so KSA stands to benefit because they'll be right at the mouth of the new canal, which is going to probably use it for much more of the international trade. Suez Canal will completely fall away if that something like this happens. So why would KSA be against it?
See, every country has a certain strategy where they have to condemn few things, but internally the politics is different, and just today, surprisingly, I was doing a consultation for a lady who, from Palestine, and she has an option to go back to Saudi or to go back to some European country. And I told her that, go to Saudi, Saudi has a very good future coming 10 years. And she said, really? I said, yes, absolutely. And that is in a way an amalgamation of all those things which I'm seeing, that, a mindset change, in a way a de-radicalization happening over there, plus it becoming more open to the outside society, and plus, changing their own internal sort of a mindset. At the same time, what's going to happen around their borders. So net, I second what you are saying, that it is going to benefit a lot if, at the end of the chess game, so to say. But when it comes to certain optics, certain things they have to say, which they will. But I feel that net, Saudi has a very good future in the next 10 years.
Thank you so much, Kaartik ji. We have a few questions from our viewers, if you don't mind taking them.
Sure.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. Questions, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaste, does man have the capability to change destiny? What is the right time of birth? Head coming out, or full body coming out, or umbilical cord cutting, or first breath?
Yeah, Mangat, I actually, Magnet ji, okay, Magnet Ranga, very nice name. So Rangaji, I actually talked about this when I was in New York and in various places, because this is a common question which people have. So the first question is whether man can change destiny. Absolutely, 100%. You know, because there is something called as your kriyaman karma. You know, if you understand Gita, you know, so Arjuna had this question that, hey, you know, Lord Krishna, how can I fight my gurus and everybody, you know? So Lord Krishna said very clearly that, you know, based on your past life karmas, you are in this stage of the chessboard. Whether you want to get checkmated or you want to play the game and maybe checkmate them is your kriyaman karma. So from the time that the umbilical cord is cut till the time we die, there is a karma which we are doing, which we call it as kriyaman karma, which will be deposited into our next janam's savings account. So at the time of our death, there is our final chart also which happens, which we call it as punya chakra, which will tell whether we are getting a rebirth, we are getting a moksha, whether we are becoming a dog, cat, whatever it, right? So the answer to the first is absolutely yes. You know, we can change destiny because at the end of the day, there is certain amount of karmas which we can do in this life also, right? The second is about the right time of birth. Yes, there are 3 times of birth majorly which we can use. One is the adhana chakra, which is the time when the egg gets fertilized, which is inside the womb of our mother. So technically speaking, when I talk about Raj Jyotish or you know, Jyotish at a very, very high level, in olden days, the chief astrologer will tell the king on which nights he should be mating with the queen. To ensure that the egg is fertilized on that beautiful moment, as a result of which a great king is born. So Jyotish works at that deep level. But for today's time, you know, I generally take the time when the umbilical cord is cut, and that is what we use it for rectification. We do the reverse mechanism because we might not know what was the time when the umbilical cord was cut. So we look at the other charts like D12, 𝗤𝗏𝗡, you know, where we'll see the parents, you know, okay, was your father into army? Yes, he was into army. Kaartik ji, how do you know? Because there is Mangal in the 6th house. So it is 10th from the 9th house, which is the profession of the father, so on and so forth. You know, if Ketu is in the Navamsha Lagna, then a person has to be a forceps delivery or a very difficult delivery. So things like that. And then finally we come to that approximate birth time, which would be the time when the umbilical cord would be covered. So I hope I was able to give you some clarity.
Kaartik ji, thank you so much, because I have a few friends from South Korea and they say that they count the time, the date of birth as the time when the egg and the sperm meet. That's the time they count. It's not the date of birth. So see, Korea is such an, it's called Indrapuri in the olden days, 6th, 7th, 8th to 15th century. It used to be called Indrapuri, and it have very strong connects with India. Because one Tamil princess is supposed to have married into the royal kingdom, and she left behind a lot of words. The word amma for mom, appa for dad, a lot of other words also are taken directly from Tamil. Even today, they use this thing. So amazing that how much of a bond that India has with much of Far East, all the way up to Japan. So Kaartik ji, this is wonderful. I mean, this is validation of, you know, that is the most accurate way to say it. When the sperm meets the egg, that's the date of conception.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is what I say when I say bring back our Vedic Gurukuls and bring back our Vedic system. I keep reiterating that we don't need to even say that we are Vishwa Gurus. See, if you have a good product, why would you not position the product?
True.
Why do you have to talk about the product? Just start with rebuilding those beautiful Gurukuls in the today's context. Not, we don't expect people to sit under the tree and learn, but you know, with that mindset, if you do it, you know, I'm sure there will be people lining up to learn in our educational system rather than going to Harvard and other places.
Very true. Very true. Next question, please. Bharatam wants to know, Go char versus Graha char, which gets more value, Kaartik ji?
See, both have their equivalent value. So technically speaking, in Jyotish, we take 25% of the prediction based on the transits. So there are various ways, but both are extremely important. Depending on what is it, which dasha you are using. You are using the Vimshotri, then the grahas become important. If you are using Narayana or you are using Rashi dashas, then you are looking at basically different Rashi transits also into consideration.
Next one, please. Santosh Sivan wants to know, Sree Iyer ji, Fadnavis needs to identify bureaucrats who work hand in glove with anti-national elements, then inquire on what went wrong in Nagpur. Kaartik ji, I would like you to take this question because I'm not completely up to speed on this.
Yeah, so Sree, more or less, I feel it is the mindset problem. Let me be very clear as far as Bharat is concerned. Most of these babus or everybody has a mindset कि यार मेरी term निकल जाए. You know, the other guy who is going to come after me will handle this. You know, let me manage it till the time it has not gone over the roof. And that is unfortunately the same mindset which I see in Delhi also in current times. You know, when we say this is not an era of war, you know, when we say we are 𝗤𝗡𝗙𝗥𝗏 hai. So I somehow feel that, and I tweeted that you know, there's a difference between being peaceful and being harmless. The way we are acting is as if like we are harmless. You keep on doing whatever you want to do to us, we are going to send rice to you. You keep on doing whatever to us, you know, we are going to feed 80 crore people, you know, and at the end of the day, I had said that, you know, out of 80 crore people, maybe 20 crore are Rohingyas and Bangladeshis. You know, so we are not addressing the situation because probably we don't want to get into conflict zone. It's a very, very typical Indian mindset where we want to delay the problem. कि यार negotiation से हो जाएगा, oh we are brothers, गंगा जमुनी तहजीब है, ये है वो है. And frankly speaking, I have been quite critical of that statement because I am very clear that we are in 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 is ruled by Mars. We are in Kali-yuga. In Kali-yuga, you know, it is a yuga of war. Forget about era of war. We are in yuga of war. So when we tell Putin that this is not an era of war, even after that for 2 years, the war is on. So who understands Jyotish better? Probably Putin. So he has been following the rules of yuga where you cannot have a negotiation without a gun on the table. And I think that is where we are missing the trick by being too good boy or trying to give a very statesman-like feel. I think we are missing out, you know, on the punch that Bharat needs to have. It is all nice to talk about both and all, but frankly speaking, at a practical level, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, I'm being a little straightforward, but that's what I feel.
Thank you so much, Kaartik ji. Next question from Srinivas Iyengar. Gorji wanted to know whether the Modi government will be able to pass Waqf amendment bill in both houses and implement it under present circumstances. Thank you.
Interesting. Actually, should this all not have happened already by now? You know, we have given them enough. 303 seats, every absolutely clarity in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. I somewhere feel that second term was, you know, there could have been a lot of things that could have happened. And again, I go back to the swearing in chart where I always said that Guru in Lagna, we had given them Leo Lagna, which was not accepted, and because they wanted to do it in the evening and everything. But now we are again playing with all those things. कि यार हमको 240 दे दिया, हमको पहले दिया होता तो ये कर लेते, वो कर लिया था. You know, so I always tell them that भाई जब 303 दिया था तब कर लेता सा, right? But तब तो किया नहीं. So you waited till the time you get 240, and now you are telling us कि भाई 240 है इसलिए हमको इतना problem आ रहा है. So it's a cat and mouse game, and but at the end of the day, again, I come back to that same thing, that as long as you try to solve every problem with sabka saath and sabka vikas and sabka ye, sabka wo, it's never going to happen, because in such a huge population, you are never going to have any bill which is not going to be harm to anybody. Net, you have to see if it is good for Bharat, that bill needs to be passed by hook or crook and take the path of conflict if it is required. If it is required for Ma Bharti, if it is required for Bharat. Don't be shy away from that, because this swearing in chart is showing that you will have to take that path. Whether you take it now or you take it later, the more you delay, the more the problem is going to aggravate for you. You know, so I think that they should take the elephant in the room and take it right.
Thank you. And RB Sai wants to know, sir, can you please tell us when can Tamil Nadu wake up to a new dawn? Will lotus bloom there?
Interesting, because see, I feel bad, you know, that, you know, this is the land of Shankaracharyas, and that is where you are still fighting, about the Dravidian politics and Aryan theory, this theory. And what has happened? So much of our temple wealth, like just today I heard that, so much of the gold has been melted. And
5 lakh kilograms.
Yeah, and this all, where is this all money going? So when people say that, okay, we should ensure that, we don't buy from certain community, we should buy this from this community, that community. And I laugh at it, that the government has given them so much of avenues of making money that frankly speaking, they don't need to make money and anyways. Because there is Waqf, there is this halal economy, there is so many things whereby they are making more than enough money, whereby, and plus on top of it, वो 80 करोड़ में तो, अनाज तो मिल ही रहा है. So उनको क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? They will again play a bigger victim card. So, that is the thing. With Tamil Nadu, I've got great hope in Annamalai. I've said that before, that BJP should invest in Annamalai heavily. And if he might be a sort of a surprise candidate as a BJP president, I think that would help them raise the profile in Tamil Nadu as well. Not that as a president he needs to sit in Delhi all the time, but that will obviously give a much needed sort of a momentum that Annamalai ji needs, so that he can really come to the forefront, because he lost Coimbatore. He fought like a tiger. There's no doubt about it. And he's a guy, who can really change the whole dynamics. But at the end of the day, it is all the Sanatanis over there. Interestingly, when I was in Kum, Sree Iyer ji, so I met a lot of YouTubers over there. And 2 of them were from Tamil Nadu. And they told Kaartik ji, you feel that West Bengal is tough for YouTubers or Sanatanis to stand up for, then you are wrong. It is actually Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, even little bit here and there, directly police comes to us.
Yes. Yes, very true.
So he was telling me, Kaartik ji, you have no idea, that where my state has gone to. And I felt very bad, because that is the land of Shankaracharyas, and Wokism can take you so bad. And that's why we need Gurukuls. This is what I'm saying. Bring back our Vedic Gurukuls, and that has to be a proper mission, and that is going to be wiping out a lot of radicalism, and that Sanatana is going to be very strong under the umbrella of Vedic Gurukuls.
Wonderful, sir. Let's go to the next question. I think that's all the questions we had. Thank you so much, Kaartik ji. And the viewers will be back with Kaartik ji, time permitting, next then 2 weeks from now, right? We are having it every alternate Wednesdays.
Alternate Wednesdays,
so,
yes.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now, Kaartik ji will be back, same time, same location. Kaartik ji, just stay on for the line, because I want to talk to you, plant a seed of thought in your mind about what we would like to discuss in the next episode. Thank you once again. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.